Welcome back to Cooking is Coping, which is where I cook to cope with anxiety and frustration and general irritation. Today we're going to make beef broth. I'm going to start it with like a basic beef broth, just a regular old meat and potatoes. I'm not interested in anything I can't see on Fox News beef broth. And then we're going to step it up a couple levels, and I'm going to show you how to bring it up to something progressively more interesting. Like I said, I cook to cope with anxiety and frustration and irritation. And so, yeah, big shout out to everyone from a conservative town in the South like me who got the hell out, but keeps a few idiots in their Facebook feed just to see how the dumbass community is handling this viral pandemic. If you have a conspiracy theory about a viral pandemic, you should have to present it to the internet while holding a diploma from the highest level of education that you have attained in one hand while you just let your little theory fly, okay? Because I am seeing a lot of community college pandemic experts out here saying, do the research. And it's like, you can't say do the research if you've never actually been inside a library, okay? There's research and there's looking shit up on the internet. That's really about it. I'll tell you who is having a great time right now, I'm pretty sure, have got to be New York City zookeeper. The fact that there's no humans at the zoo has got to be a major plus if you are the last human at the zoo. You got to be a zookeeper because you love animals more than you love people, right? That zookeepers are zookeepers for the same reason that social workers are not running a veterinary clinic, okay? Social worker loves people, zookeeper loves animals. That's it. And now the human population has drastically diminished. There's no zookeepers in a New York City zoo who are just on the fence about animals, right? What kind of zookeeper just says, oh, you know what? I just fell into it after college. I was temping. I needed a little direction. It's got good benefits. You know, it's interesting. I get some fresh air. I'm not that wild about animals, but I love the smell of tiger shit. This is the broth that I make to keep around my house. This is how I make it. Usually I just go like beef, produce, spices. I don't roast the bones every single time. I don't blacken the onion every single time, but it's just what I make. I keep in my fridge for me, and then when I have company or just when I eat something or when I share this with somebody, it's just got a zip that I've put in there that makes this thing me. All right, first of all, a little fresh ginger. I'll put that right there, fresh ginger. Now, everything you get, you want to cut in half. So we're going to do like this, right? You want as much surface area as you can get. And put that over here. Okay, so beef, a little more beef. Cut that out. Got a beef pile, nice little beef pile. Celery, cut the end. You can keep that celery end, that's flavor. Keep that, right? A couple of stalks here. You want as much surface area as possible. So just get a whole head of garlic. Okay, cut it right in half. Like that. Okay, sticking out. It's messy, it's disorganized. Dried up old lemongrass, you know, that I was going to throw away. I left this carrot on the floor the other night and a mouse came in and it gnawed on it a little bit. I mean, the pressure cooker will certainly sterilize that, but let's just play it safe, okay? Just for TV here, we'll cut that right off. Get a whole onion, cut that in half like this. Okay. There we go. All right, all these ingredients down here we just looked at. These are as is. This is fine. This is great. If this broth was a kid you knew from high school, he would have gone to a state school locally. He'd married his high school sweetheart. He'd be living in the hometown, working in real estate or maybe marketing. You'd see him at the reunion. You wouldn't be thrilled. You wouldn't be terrified. Really, he'd just kind of disappear into the tapestry forever. And that's what this is good for, letting your other flavors shine. That is not how this guy works, okay? So here we go. Here's how we step it up. One way to step this up is we're going to take this beef here, and I'm just going to pour a little olive oil all over it. And then just kind of rub that in like this. Okay. Some scallions here that are getting a little old, so I'm going to put those in too. Just let those get some color. I'm going to put this in the oven and roast it until it's a delicious golden brown. I just want that to blacken, so we're going to let that sit. They do this when they make pho for whatever reason. Okay, they just take this, and take that ginger, and you want to blacken it over an open flame. I just want to take a spoon, right? You peel this, you take a spoon, and you just do like this. scrape that black shit. Ow, 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 ow. Off of here. Whew. You do get the idea. Here's that garlic right off of the pan, so, you know, in good shape. You want as much of this onion to be as black as you can get it. And this is starting to look right, but just cover as much as you can. These spices will really infuse this broth with some extra flavor. You got your star anise here, a little extra star anise, some cinnamon sticks. Then we got cardamom pods, black cardamom pods and green cardamom pods if you got them. Cloves, some allspice berries, a couple of chipotle peppers for that smoky heat, some kelp to kind of give it a ramen flavor, and then these bonito flakes. They're dried fish flakes. They're used in ramen, and nobody notices when they're not there, but they love it when it is. That's kind of what we're looking for here with the meat bones, kind of brown. See that browning, yeah, and with these wilty, this is ready. This is ready to go. Just putting it all in the pot. Okay, we're gonna take our broth and just kind of cram everything in there nice and tight, like this. And maybe overfilling it. We'll see how it goes. All right, and we're gonna just fill it with water and let it rip. The spices are in, the veggies are in, the meat's in. We're just gonna cook that in the Instant Pot over there for 90 minutes and just let that hot water permeate through everything and just suck all the flavor out of all of those things and put it into the liquid. So the spice combo is something I kind of came up with where I love pho and I love ramen. My fiance and I tried to make both ramen and pho on different occasions, and I gotta tell you something. It is a laborious, exhausting process. So this is all something I've made up and bastardized and cut together. And the amount of work it takes to make ramen broth, you gotta be kidding me. We had people over for homemade ramen one time. I made it from this special cookbook I got on Amazon. It took 3 days to make that broth. And you gotta get all different kind of dried fish, dried anchovies, bonito flakes, all this other stuff, grind them up into powders and measure them out, and then do college level algebra to figure out how much of that to how much soy sauce to how much mirin to how much water to make the broth. It was laborious, it was exhausting. I've been working, I'm sweating. And then my fiance's friend comes over and her husband walks in. He goes, "Oh my God, it smells great. I can't wait. Oh, by the way, I have a severe seafood allergy. Can you just make me something else? I'll just have that instead." I want you to put on a diaper, call 911, and I want you to eat this goddamn ramen broth until the ambulance gets here, okay? You don't just spring a deadly allergy on somebody on the way in. He knew he was invited last week. As you can see, this broth is out of the Instant Pot, right? And you've got your vegetables are just mush. Everything is just kind of laying there flat and lifeless. All their essential flavors have been sucked out and drawn into the liquid. This meat should taste like a towel you don't care very much about anymore, okay? Just bland and lifeless, but all of its flavor is in here. And if you put hot peppers in here, all of that hot pepper oil has infused into the meat fat and is floating on the surface. I stuck a finger in here like this. If you do like that right now, you're gonna blow off the back of your skull. But rest assured, if you either skim that fat off or just let it mellow out, it's not gonna be as crazy as it seems as soon as you get it out. So all we're gonna do is just take these tongs and pick this stuff up out of here, drop it in the strainer, let it drip out, and then put the liquid into this jar. I've labeled the jar, right, with my custom label with a Sharpie, some pink tape. You put the date on there, okay, because this stuff doesn't have any preservatives in it. It'll keep in your fridge, but it won't keep in your fridge forever. I've had some funky broths before that I made. I let them ride. There were some solids where there did not used to be, and I overlooked those solids, and I paid a price. So all you got to do now is just pull that stuff out of the pot, strain it into another bowl. You're going to discard that lifeless, bland pulp, and then pour the broth into a jar, and that's pretty much it. Just squish, strain, repeat, and then you got some broth, friends. You got some broth. After last week's video, a bunch of people from my mailing list wrote in with questions for me to answer on this week's video, with the understanding that I am by no means a therapist or a professional chef. Actually, I am to a therapist what a veterinarian is to a surgeon on a desert island, okay? Like, if there's nobody else around, use this, but you should really consider getting some professional help. First question: how important is it to know how to cook during, say, a pandemic. It is critical to learn how to cook during a pandemic. It is, and notice that I said critical to learn how to cook during a pandemic, okay? Because you got to know how to cook. There are people in cities who have enough money and they can get by with not knowing how to cook. They cook with the phone, so to speak, and that works for a while. But I think we're discovering that a lot of things that we thought worked and had been working for a while actually hadn't been working the whole time, because they don't work when you really need them to work. Right now that nobody else works, how's anybody going to work? It's a big question, right? So let's say you're stuck at home and you're cooking with the phone. That's only going to last but so long. There's poor guys that are delivering your food. They need the money, but on the other hand, they need a break. So learn to cook at this time. If you think you already know how to cook, get better at it, okay? You could do that too. So everybody can learn to cook on some level. There's always room to improve. And if you don't know how to cook at all, just do a little something. I mean, at this point, if you think you don't have time for something, what you really should admit is you don't want to make the time for something, and that's fine too. But make the time for this. It's going to pay off. Is there any one sort of game-changing food prep that you could share with them? Any vegetable apart from beets, chopped up, put in a hot pan, heat it up, and then pour in Shaoxing cooking wine, fish sauce, soy sauce, maybe some 5-spice powder. It's incredible. You could put mulch from your back garden into a wok and stir it around with that, and you'd be able to get it down. Do 3 times as much as you can eat in an evening, and it's great the next day, and then it's even better the day after that. Do it. How do you deal with depression and amotivation during this time? She says, I want to work on my website, I want to write, I want to get all this stuff done. I'm usually just a locomotive of productive energy, but now I can barely get out of my jammies. Like, how do you do it? I don't know if I do it. I mean, I think I do it because I'm doing this, so I'm doing something, but I feel this way all the time. I've actually felt this way for 5 years. I've been at home in my jammies trying to be productive while feeling left out, like the world is spinning ahead without me, and just banging on my keyboard and trying to get the world to pay some kind of attention to me. That's pretty much been, if the sun is up, that's how I'm feeling. I think the way you're going to make it through this is, this thing my therapist told me the other day. He said people right now are emotionally disorganized, right? You're feeling all kinds of different feelings all the time, and they don't make a lot of sense. And then because human beings are the only creatures that have feelings about their feelings. I got really sad today because I learned that comic distributors weren't going to distribute to comic shops, which meant that mom and pop comic book stores, which is where I go when I'm feeling sad and out of sorts, a lot of them are going to have to close. And I got really sad about that. And then I got sad about the fact that I was sad because people's families are dying right now, and I felt bad about me and my stupid Batman comics. And then it's just like, let yourself have it. Feel what you're gonna feel. It would be weird if you felt normal right now. Imagine you just wake up every day, you just go to work in your living room, you get everything done perfectly, and then you have a perfectly healthy dinner at the end of the day, and you go to bed at exactly the same time every night. What are you, a monster? No. The world is falling apart and we have no protection, and we're suddenly aware of that, and it's taking a toll. Processing that requires energy, and it takes energy away from other things. Let yourself feel the way that you're going to feel. Suzuki said in Zen Mind, Beginner Mind, that when you're sitting in a boat and a wave comes, if you fight the wave with your oar, you're going to fall out of the boat. Just whoop, slip over the wave, right? And then another one's going to come. Here's what I try to do, is I try to get up every morning. I try to minimize looking at my phone in bed. Doesn't always work. And then I go straight to the shower, take a shower, put on clean clothes, sit down at my desk. And then I just, for 1 hour, try to do something productive. And I'll decide the night before. Tomorrow I want to get up, I want to write for 1 hour. Turn the phone off. You could get a browser extension to shut off your internet right for that hour. Make yourself do it in clean clothes that you could wear in front of another human being with a clean body. Do it for an hour, and then let yourself fall apart, okay? And even if you're a mess all day, you did something. It's weird if you don't feel bad right now. What are you, a psychopath? Feel bad. Everyone should feel bad. The wrong people feel good right now, and it is our duty as empathetic human beings to feel bad. Just don't be paralyzed by it, okay? You can feel good a little bit, bad a little bit, but just set a few discrete goals and hit. What's a good meal to cook to fend off existential dread? I'm sensing a theme. Eggs. If you feel the dread coming, right, the clouds are massing on the horizon, go to your fridge, open it up, find maybe some of those veggies I just told you how to make, right, in the wok, right? Get those, maybe the buffalo cauliflower from last week, heat that up, get it nice and hot in a pan, get some eggs, beat them together, a little milk, salt and pepper. Once you get that hot, move that stuff to the side, pour the eggs into the pan, and you'll just notice that, right? That's you. You put those eggs on that heat. You made that noise. Let it firm up and then slowly mix your veggies into the eggs, right? Top it with a little shredded cheese, put some hot sauce on top, sit down, turn off the internet, and then just eat it. It's gonna be delicious. I don't care what it is, it's gonna be incredible. And you made that, right? You looked at the chaos of your heart and of your mind and in your fridge, and you applied yourself to it, you ordered it, you rearranged it, and you gave your body pleasure and nourishment. Let that soak in. That's control. That's you having control over your environment. I find it makes the clouds recede a little bit. It doesn't always work, but it's better than not doing anything. It's the best I got for you. That's it for questions this week. I got some other great ones. I just wanted to save them for next time. If you got any questions for me about cooking or taking care of yourself or really anything at all, I'll give it a crack. I'm stuck in the same apartment everybody else is. Good luck getting your benefits out there, and keep your hands clean. Talk to you next week.